Now that Deion Sanders is officially the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, he has dominated the news cycle not only because he moved to the Power 5 ranks from Jackson State, but he's starting to also make some ripples in the recruiting world, mainly because the transfer portal did open on Monday, and within 48 hours, there's been at least 200 players that have reached out and had interest in joining his team at Colorado. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the ripple that Deion Sanders is starting to have in the recruiting world and 3 players that jumped out to me that we could potentially see at Colorado. But first, thank you all for tuning in here to Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. If you are new to the channel, please hit that like, subscribe, as well as the bell notification. We're dropping a lot of content around OU football, college football, and really sports in general. Also, to keep the channel growing, hit that share button because somebody else is going to want to watch this. And that's because sharing is caring. And so in this video, we're going to dive into Deion Sanders going to Colorado. And we're going to talk about some of the ripple effects he has in recruiting. As I mentioned 3, but there's actually 4 players I'm interested in seeing if they will follow him to that school. Let's jump into it, shall we? Now, as Coach Prime has dominated the news cycle, and we've talked about him ad nauseum, literally for 48 hours. I think it's time to look forward. It's time to move forward and see what he's doing to garner attention out there when it comes to the recruits. Because that's the only thing that matters, is what is his success going to look like on the football field? Well, with these players that have jumped out, their names popping up, potentially tied to Colorado, he can turn that school around within about 1 year, maybe 2, and actually have a competitive squad at Colorado. Now, Colorado last season did go 1-11, and they weren't the best out on the field whatsoever. And when Coach Prime walked in there to talk to those players, he let them know that he was coming. And he was also bringing his own luggage, and it's Louis. If you understand that reference, he's going to bring some players with him. And some of the players there at Colorado, the ones that were part of the 1-11 team that got their last coach fired, most likely will not be there. And that's not a bad thing. For some of them, a new situation, a new scenery will be good for them moving forward. But in order for Deion to create a sustainable winner in Colorado, he's going to have to take heavy advantage of the transfer portal and do some really good grassroots recruiting and bringing players out there. Now, being that he's in Colorado, you're curious to know Being that he's at Colorado, you're probably curious and wondering if he can pull those players from around the country, especially the ones that will help you win at the Power 5 level. Well, it looks like he's already got some Florida boys that have some interest and one of his own that could really do it. So let's talk about that. One of the recruits that jumped out to me was running back Dylan Edwards. Dylan is out of Derby, Kansas. He is a commit to Notre Dame. And as soon as Deion got there, he got an offer from Colorado. Now, Dylan is 5'9", 165, but he is a monster in the run game. Ranked in the top 200 nationally on the 24/7 composite. 4-star rating. That's the type of player that could walk in and help make an impact long term. Seeing these type of players get that attention from Colorado, it's not really mind-blowing, but it's crazy to see that Deion has immediately started making ripples. Another player that came down the line, but I think can actually make an impact today, Trey Sanders. Trey Sanders is a running back from Alabama. He was the number 1 running back in the 2019 cycle. Now, Trey Sanders, the last name may make you think he's related to Deion. He's not. But he did hit Deion up as soon as he took the job and he jumped in the transfer portal and said, "Hey, Unc, you got space for me." A player of Trey Sanders' caliber would work wonders at Colorado. Now, Trey did not make his footing at Alabama like he wanted. There was an automobile accident and some injuries that came down the line. But now that he is a senior, former 5-star, number 6 player in the country, number 1 running back out of Florida, Bradenton, Florida, he was at IMG Academy. There's a great chance that he can get to Colorado and start making waves. I'm curious to see if a player like Trey Sanders and others like him will follow and go to Colorado and make them into a contender immediately. Think about the way Deion can do this. It's similar to the way Mel Tucker did it at Michigan State. Now, I know Colorado fans are not very happy about hearing that name, as he did leave Colorado high and dry. I understand. But Deion could come in and do something similar with the transfer portal, which is why I love it so much, because it allows for coaches to turn things around within 1 year, and then they can start building their recruiting classes to make it sustainable. The next player we saw was Winston Watkins Jr. Winston is also at IMG Academy, another Florida player. He's from Fort Myers, but he plays at IMG Academy, 5'10", 172, wide receiver, 5-star, number 13 receiver in the country in the 2025 cycle. That's where the sustainability is coming. He's getting players down the line on top of players that can play today. If he can land Winston Watkins by 2025 and still at Colorado, while having Dylan Edwards come in and all the other plethora of 4- and 5-star players that have interest in playing for the name Deion Sanders, he can make a major difference in college football for himself and his staff. And the last player I'm really curious about is going to be that number 1 player that he was able to take away from his alma mater, Travis Hunter. Now, Travis Hunter is still currently at Jackson State, and I haven't seen any official words that he has entered the transfer portal. Now, the expectation is that he will enter said portal and follow Deion Sanders over to Colorado. Now, I'm curious to know, how long is it going to take before Travis goes ahead and leaves out? Now, the Celebration Bowl is this weekend, which is considered the Black National Championship, and Jackson State is in it. Will Travis hit the portal right after that game, or will he not play in the game? We'll have to see. But he did say on IG Live in a comment while Deion was streaming his speech to the Colorado players that, "Coach, I'm coming." And if he's coming, Deion's can have himself a really solid defense. Remember, Travis was a 100 on 24/7 Sports, a 99.99 on the composite, number 1 player in the country in the 2022 cycle. You add Travis Hunter to what Deion Sanders is going to potentially bring and build in Colorado, they're going to do some special stuff. So keep your eye out on those 4 players. I'm looking at Dylan Edwards, Trey Sanders, Winston Watkins, and Travis Hunter. But the ones to really watch right now is Dylan Edwards, Trey Sanders, and Travis Hunter, as those 3 will be able to come in next season and potentially be impactful. Thank you all for tuning into the channel. If you're new here, please hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification. We would love to have you here at the family. We talk a lot of college football, a lot of OU football, but we're also getting more college football and sports in general. Join us, as well as share, because sharing is caring. And with that, we'll see more videos over the next few days in recruiting. Chop it up with you then. Peace.